I have one challenger. Just one. Okay. Sorry. Nice. So we end up with what? We end up with 5x plus 2, 5x plus 2, right? When you multiply it out, you'll get 25x squared plus 10x plus 10x plus 4. So I have 25x squared plus 20x plus 4. Right? I want to show you a little shortcut. Right? I want to show you a shortcut instead of writing this out, right? Here's what you could do. Right? Here's what you could also do. You could square the 5x. Right? You could square the 5x and you will get 5x squared. You could square the 2 and you'll get 4. Right? And then here's what you're doing. 5x by 2 is what? 10x, and you multiply that by 2. Right? And you will get the squared, the x, then the constant. Okay? Watch it here. 7x squared is what? Right? Minus 2 squared is, right? 7x by 2 is minus 14. Multiply that by 2. Right? So you'll end up with 49x squared minus 28x plus 1. Right? That could work as well. Okay? You have the long way and the short way once you understand what to do. Right? Right. Here's my challenge for you now. Ready? 2x plus 1. Right? Same thing you're doing. Do 2 first, get your answer, and then do it with the last one. Okay? Try this here from you. Failure thing. All right. So of course we're going to get 2x plus 1 by 2x plus 1 by 2x plus 1, right? We are not interested with this one as well. Let's do these two first. That's okay? Let's do these two first, and then the answer we get, we multiply by this. Ready? So I'll leave in this 2x plus 1 here. Everybody okay with that? Nice. Let's deal with this here. 2x squared, that's 4x squared. 1 squared, that's 1. Everybody okay with that? And then 2x by 1 is 2x, by 2 is 4x. So if I square this, I'll get this. Are you okay with that? 2x by 2x, 2x squared, 2x. I'm going to do it the long way, right? Because some of them looking like they get lost. I'm going to do it the long way, right? 2x by 2x, 4x squared. 2x by 1, 2x. 1 by 2x, 1 by 1 is 1. Right? Yeah? Coming up. So you'll end up with 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 by 2x plus 1. Everybody okay with this? Yeah? Now, how do we handle the third term? This last one here. Doing the same thing again. You're multiplying. You can do it two ways. 4x squared by this, 4x squared by 1. 4x by this, 4x by 1. And then 1 by this, 1 by this. Or you can do 2x by this, 1 by this. All right? Anyone will give you the same answer. So let's go. Right? 2x by 1, 2x. 2x by 4x, 8x squared. 2x by 4x squared, 2 by 4 is 2x by 4x squared. 2 by 4 is 8. X by x squared, add the powers, you will get x. Anybody get lost there? Yeah, you get lost? So 2x by 1, 2x. 2x by 4x, 8x squared. 2x by 4x squared, 8x. Right? Multiply the constants first, then the x's. Right? But not done. I multiply 1 by everything here. Right? 1 by 1 is 1. 1 by 4x is 1 by 4x squared is. Are we done? Are we done? No, we have to bring like terms together. So we'll get 8x cubed. 8x squared plus 4x squared is 12x squared. 4x plus 2x is 6x plus 1. That's the final answer. Okay? Don't worry, this never came before. I just wanted to challenge you a little bit, right? When you're done, head up factorization. Right, but what's important is I want you to understand the steps that we took. We expand these two, and then we multiply by this. Okay? Right, so every now and again I'll torture you, I'll do something a little hard for you. Just to keep you thinking, right? Ready? So we're going to start something called factorization. Right? Factorization, basically this, right? If I give you something like if we have something like this, 12, I wanted two factors that will give you 12. So you might write 2 and 6. All right. If I say in simplest terms, you might write it like this. 2 by 2 by 3. Either one can work. All right. These are the factors of 12. Okay. So what we're trying to do now is we are trying to do the same thing. Right. So we are trying to do the same thing with algebra. So if I give you something like this, 12x minus 6. All right, I'll just leave that, right? 12x minus 6, right? What we want is, how do we factorize this so that when we multiply, we end up with the original thing, right? So watch this here. What do these two have in, can I break down 12? 12 is what? 2 multiplied by 6, right? So I write, this is multiplied, right? Let me put it higher. This is multiplied, right? So what these two things have in common? 6, right? So if I cross out 6, I can write it here, right? Oh, sorry, I should put a 1 here so you don't make a mistake, right? Right? If I cross out 6 here, I'll be left with 2x minus 1. That's okay? So if I multiply this back, 6 by 2x, I'll get 12x. 6 by minus 1 minus 6. You'll see that? So these are the factors of this. So if I said factorize this, that's the answer. You okay with that? What about if I gave you something like this? Right? We are trying to build up to something like this, right? Take this and get back this. Right? So our objective is to be able to factorize a quadratic. Right. So if I gave you something like this, 3x squared y cubed minus 9 x cubed y squared, right? How do we factorize that? So what you have to look for is common terms in both of them. Oh, you'll have to copy down that. Copy down that, and then we go to numbers. Ready? No? Right? So again, you don't have to do this step here if you've seen it already, but I like to expand it out, right? 3 could be 3 by 1. X squared could be x by x. Y cubed will be y by y by y. Right? As I said, you don't have to write out all of this up if you could see it. 9 is what? 3 by 3. X cubed is x by x by x. Y squared is y by y. Now, the reason I did that is for you to see what they have in common. They both have 3 in common. They both have 2 x's in common. So I write x squared here. And they both have 2 y's in common. What am I left with? 1 on y minus 3 on x. That's okay? So if I multiply this by this again, but this, this by this again. Yeah? No? Tell me. So what I did here for you is we're trying to see what they both have in common. One of the ways you could do it is to expand it out. Instead of writing x squared, put x on x. Instead of writing 3, put 3 on 1. Instead of writing y cubed, write y. I do it here in both sides. So now you should be able to see that they both have things in common. So they both have 3 across it off and I write it here. They both have 2 x's. Write it here. They both have 2 y's. I write it here. What I'm left with? 1y minus 3x. Okay? Copy it down. Try this one here for me. Factorize that. But now, yeah, right? Sanjay, yeah. But I mean, no. Sanjay, right? That's right. Sanjay. Ashish was online. Bashu, correct here. Sapir. Sapir? Absolutely. Huh? That's what I said on. Talia. Mohammed.
Present.
Caleb. Ganesh. Type it on the first name. Ian. Yeah. Anissa. Rajiv. I like all this. Say long and it saves one. Make it easy to remember. Right? You're done? Factorize it down here. Let's make it easier. I'll get you there. But it's smiling much good. Enough. Right, what we need to do, we need to get this kaboot to go into the, I ain't got no scores for it. Mariah. Okay, Mohammed after. Tariq. Alika. Radha. It's some of you. Jamal. Jaden. Kadeem. Oh, Kashi, you move. Oi, kamu senang bayang. Sanjay. Okay. Sarah, let's see how can I name on this list by Priya, Jacob, Eden, Israel, Amelia, Ross, I pronounce the first name, and Julie, Anthony, Khadija, good, Elbon, I pronounce the first name. Huh? Yes. Your name was Mandi Almasters. It was Korea? No, the wrong one. What's the name? Alex. Matthias. Samaya. Put in here the name. Yeah, that's putting the name back here, right? No, oh, so people online, I didn't get their names too. Right. So let's do this last one the long way, right? So let's write 2 by 2 by E by E by B, 2 by 1 by E by E by E by B. As I said, you don't have to do this, right? Once you can see the factors, right? So they both have 2 in common, so write 2. They both have 2 A's in common, so write A squared. They both have B in common, so write B. What are we left with? 2 alone here. What are we left with here? 1A. If you put the yeah, that's okay. Why you end up with this here? Yeah. Right, that's okay. You okay with that? I do Sasha. Put in lots of stuff. Guy number 4. You're done? Yeah. So you can look here and look at it now. Oh, you're right. And so go ahead. Everybody okay with that? So in the numbers, you'll recognize that they have 3 in common and they have 1x in common. So our next way to look at it is 3x into this will give it 2x. 3x into this will give you -1. That's the final answer, right? So if you don't want to write this long thing, you can just factor it out. That okay with that? Well, what about number 5? Suppose I gave you something like this. Suppose I said factorize x squared -1. Can you factorize it? No, no mathematical good answer. How do we factorize something like this? Are you seeing anything in common? Inside 1. Nothing really, right? But if I put a squared here, did I change the expression? Same thing, right? 1 squared is 1. So if you could write something like this, x squared minus 1 squared, we could use a rule called the difference of 2 squares. You're seeing that? We could use a rule called the difference of 2 squares. And that will be equal to a minus b by a plus c. So whatever in front is a, whatever is next is b. So your answer will be x minus 1, x plus 1. You okay with that? So once you can write something as x squared minus 1 squared or a squared minus b squared, x becomes a, b becomes a 1. X minus 1, x plus 1. All right? Once you can write it like that. All right? So if you see something looking like this, 2 terms squared, most likely is difference of 2 squares. All right? Copy it down, try easy one. Copy it down, try number 6, a easy one there. Online, follow it, madam. I'm sorry. Right, so we got what? All right, nice. Everybody get through with that, right? So all you have to do is figure out x, y, x plus y, right? But of course, it wouldn't be this simple, right? Here's what it could do. Here's what they could do, right? They could give you something like this. 16x squared minus 4. Right, I'm gonna give you a 4 because see, I might think that too easy. 9. Yeah, but then anything come on? I look at anything come on? No. But is it possible to write this and that 4? Yeah? What y'all think? Yeah? What squared will give me 16x squared? 4x, right? 4x squared will give me this. What squared will give me 9? Yeah? And all the hard work finished. Can you see what is A and what is B? So that'll be 4x minus 3, 4x plus 2. Okay? Copy it down, try these two here. Right? Any questions? You have a team, I don't think you'll get message them, right? Finish? After I'm period. Skip hard master, skip master and go online. Finish? Right, now you click on some then let's switch there. I should have seen them there. But I didn't know. So now let's switch on to my phone. Oh. Ready? You ready? As well? Right, so 16x squared is what? 4x squared, and 1 is really what? Oh, shut. I put the wrong one here, sorry. Right, so the answer here is what? 4x minus 1, 4x. Here is what? 3a squared minus 5 squared. A and B, right? So this is 3a minus 5 by 3a plus 5. That's okay? Everybody okay with that? Let's make it slightly harder. So far we did two main types, right? The difference are two squares and the one from before, right? The one like this thing. So you'll recognize that if you look at the examples 1 to 8, you will factorize in two terms. You're going to take a look at when it becomes 4 terms and 3 terms. Okay? So let's take a look at 4 terms. Go watch here. And I'm not. Sino sir? Yes. All right. So sometimes you might see something like this. All right. And you have to figure out how to factorize this. What you just do is, because it's 4 terms, you break it up into first 2 terms, second 2 terms. Okay? So if you look here, in these first 2 terms, what they have in common? 2 and 2 and x. So if I factor out 2x from here, I'll be left with 3x plus what? 2. 2 into 6 is 3, x into x squared is x. 2 into 4 is 2, x into x is 1. That's okay? Now if I look at these two, what they have in common? 1, right? Because they have no other value in common besides 1, right? So if I factor out plus 1, I'll be left with 3x plus 2. Let's make sure plus 1 into 3x is 3x, plus 1 into 2 is 2. But okay with that? Right, here's where the exciting part happens, right? You'll recognize that these two are the same thing. That's okay? You're saying that? So what we could do is we could factor out 3x plus 2, and you're left with 2x plus 1. That's okay? You're saying that? So you're looking for it here and here. So you're treating it as 2. Don't put a bracket here. You could do all this quibbly line like this. Factorize here, and then factorize here. Not a bracket here. Bracket might mean multiplied, right? Copy it down. Cover. Oh yeah, copy that down. I was not hiding now. I'll check. Right, try that again, please. Try that again, please. Try that there. All right, ready? Right, so the trick is to watch it, both of them, right? These two and then these two. What these two have in common? Right? Stop it in numbers. But what have in common? 2 and then 8. So now 2 into 8 is A into A will cancel and you'll be left with C. 2 into 2 is 1. A into A will cancel, you'll be left with. Everybody okay with that? But what these two have in common? B alone, right? So plus B, please don't forget to write the sign here, plus B. B into 4BC will give you 4C. B into B squared is B. If you do it properly, these two things are the same, right? Now, we can factor out 4CB. Now we can factor out 4C plus B, and we're left with 2A plus B. Yeah? Who confused? Are you okay with that? Right? I could rush and show you how to factorize a quadratic, but I'll save that, right? Let's take a look at a couple past papers here. Well, Let's try a few past people. Try part 1 and 2. Ignore 3. Ignore 3. I'm sure it's here yet technical. Add mass people or they can have fun and do it too. I have much of that. Right, focus on 1 and 2, right? Finish. Okay, I cannot think up to the audio. All right, let's go. Everybody work yourself. Right. Can we use difference of 2 squared on part 1? No. Because nothing squared will give us 6 squared, but nothing rational. Right? So first part we could factor out 6 and y. So we'll get y. You'll end up with y minus 3x. Are you okay with that? 6y, you factor out 6y and you'll get y minus 3x. Always multiply it back to make sure you get back to the original, right? What about part 2? Difference of 2 squares? Yes. So that'll be 2m squared minus 1 squared. So that'll be 2m minus 1, 2m plus 1. Right? I know part 3 will do that next, right? Try that there. Try that there. Factorize it. Right? I'm bringing the iPad by somebody to work it out for now. I'm bringing the iPad by you and you just do the right thing. Nobody will see your face unless you know your fingers. See them. I'll bring it in front here, you and Banana. Listen, huh? Bring it here. Oh yeah, so part two. As well, it is the vanilla. Okay. I did the good job cheating so far. We can pick on here, give you some answers. I wish Mr. Ramdi, you're getting many answers for the day. Huh? You wake up, finish up, send me something. Right, Barney send some answers. Remember, when you have the four terms, the part in the bracket should be the same, right? Right, remember this step here, whatever in the brackets must be the same. If it's not, means you factor out the wrong thing. Right, sometimes we factor out plus instead of minus. Right? Try them quick. At least we part two to part two is all right, let's see. Right, I Navad. Right? So you got x minus 2y, 3 plus a. Look at that handwriting. Right? Start complaining about mine, right? Good. Nice solid, not bad. Sorry. You all done? Can we squeeze in one more? Yes. I like this word. Nice. Huh? Last three are we done. Well, last three parts. That's it. Take your time, part 1, 2, 3. Right, I'm interested in 3. Right, please don't forget part 3, otherwise they can't factorize the quadratic next week, right? Must remember part 3. All right. All right, last set, that's correct, right? Let's keep it right? First one, you'd recognize that they both have 2 in common and x squared, 2 in common and x squared y. So you'll be left with x plus 3y. All right, next one, difference of 2 squared, so that's 3x squared minus 2 squared. So you'll end up with 3x minus 2, 3x plus 2. Right? And last one here is you're doing them separately, right? So you're factoring out 4x, you'll get x plus 2y. And here you factor out what? Minus what? Minus y. You'll get x plus 2y. So you have to factor out minus y, right? And you're done. You'll get x plus 2y, 4x minus y. That's it. That's the way we factorize. All I ask you for homework all here is to revise that last past fraction. Okay? So it will be easy for us to move on next week, right?